Hi friends, it's Miss Renee and I'm back with some more science. Today we're going to play with bubbles. I know that doesn't sound like science, but it is, and you'll see why. Now, if you don't have any bubbles at home, like little bottles of bubbles or tubes of bubbles, that's okay. You can make your own. I'm going to show you how. You just need water and dish soap. That's easy. So to me, I saw all different recipes online for making your own bubble solution. All that really matters is that you have dish soap and water. I saw some that said a lot of soap, a little water. I saw other ones that were the opposite. So I made one like this earlier and it seemed to work okay. So I'm going to make it like that now. You need about 4 tablespoons of dish soap. 1, 2, 3. If you already have a bottle of bubbles at home though, you can just use those. They might work a little better. But if not, you can make some just like this. So 4 tablespoons of dish soap and about a cup of water. I'm just gonna pour that in. I'm using a shallow dish because it makes it easier to dip bubble wands and other things that you might use in if it's shallow like this. This is just from Chinese food that we had one time. And then you're gonna gently stir it together. If you stir really fast, it's gonna make a lot of suds, and then it's not gonna work to make bubbles as well. And another interesting thing I read when I was looking for different recipes was that if you actually mix this together and let it sit overnight, it works better. I didn't know that. So if you have time to let yours sit, it might work better for you. Or maybe if you made it at night one night before you went to bed, then you can play with it the next day. So that's bubble solution. Now, soap stuck on my spoon. I'm gonna switch this out for the one I made this morning because it's been sitting, so I think it might work a little better. But it's the same exact stuff as the one we just made together. So that's your bubble solution. Now, if you don't have a tube or jar or can of bubbles at home, you're not going to have a bubble wand to use. So I looked around my house and I found some different things you can use to make bubbles. I found a pipe cleaner, so I bent it and made a little triangle. Oh, and you know what? Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, but that's okay. Keep trying. There you go. So a pipe cleaner. This one was really fun. I took a straw and I cut it in half like this. And then I took my string and I cut a long piece of string. I'm not going to do it right now because it would take a while. And I fed it through both straws and then I tied it closed. And that made this. And this makes bubbles. If I dip it in, it just fits. Oh, that one didn't get any soap. Like I said, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. You can make bubbles from all sorts of things. Sometimes you have to be patient and go slow. Sometimes I have trouble getting it to stay in between the strings to have anything to blow. There you go. So you could make a straw and string one. I started looking around my kitchen. You know what works well? Cookie cutters. I found a star and a bell. Pretty cool. Here's a fun fact for you about bubbles. No matter what shape you're blowing it through, they always turn out as spheres, like a globe, like the earth and a ball. Always, every time. Because that takes the least amount of energy for them to do. So no matter what shape you're blowing in, like I'm blowing in a bell, my bubble will not be bell-shaped. Round. Then I found my tuna strainer, my tuna fish can strainer. That has lots of holes. So let's see if that'll make bubbles. Is it working? A little bit? Not really. Some things work, some things don't. I'm going to try a spatula because that has holes in it. I'm going to see if I can make bubbles from my spatula. That's a big bubble. Isn't that cool? I can't seem to get it to let go, but it's still fun to do. So look around your house and try different things and see if you can make bubbles. Let's talk real quick before I show you the most exciting part about what a bubble is. We make bubbles all the time. We blow bubbles for fun. But do you know what a bubble is? It's a film, a soapy film on the outside full of air. I'm going to draw you a quick picture because it's easier to draw than it is to just explain it. So here's the soap, right? That looks kind of like a bubble. But inside of that soapy layer, there's another soapy layer, another layer of soap like this that you don't really see because it's so thin. So this inside in the middle, that's air. This outside one is soap. And this inside one is soap. Those are both soap. But this space in between the layers of soap, that is water. And that's how you make a bubble. A layer of soap, a layer of water, a layer of soap, and then it fills with air. Now, you know you can pop a bubble by poking it with something, with your finger, or if when it hits the ground or when it hits your clothes, it'll pop. But another way a bubble can pop, did you ever notice when you blow bubbles and they start to float away, sometimes they just pop in the air? As the water that's in between the layers of air evaporates, that kind of goes away into the air, these air layers get closer and closer together. And when all the water evaporates and they touch, the bubble pops. Now you know the science of a bubble. That's pretty cool. So when that water evaporates and goes away, and the layers of soap come together, pop. That's what makes a bubble pop, or touching something hard or sharp. So for the most fun one, I'm going to show you how to make a bubble worm. And this is going to be fun and messy, and you're gonna love it. So I made one this morning. I'm gonna show you how to make it though, but this is what mine looks like. You just need a small bottle, water bottle, soda bottle. This was a Gatorade bottle. This part you're gonna need a grown-up for. You need to cut the bottom off. It doesn't matter how much you cut. Some ones that I've seen, they just cut a little bit off. Some cut way up here. It doesn't matter. But you just wanna cut the bottle. So I'm gonna poke it with my scissors. This is why you might need an adult to help you, because getting into it and getting it started can be tricky. You don't wanna cut yourself. I'm gonna cut all the way around. So I just have the top. I don't need the bottom anymore. I'm gonna get rid of that. And then you can use a couple different things. I used a washcloth, an old washcloth that I had that I cut into pieces. So I could use a piece of the washcloth like this, or you could use a sock. This is an old sock I had and I cut it, and you could just put the toe part over top. Whatever you wanna use. I'm gonna use the washcloth. So you stretch that over, and then you're just gonna use a rubber band to hold it there so it doesn't move. That's all you need to make a bubble worm, or a bubble snake. I've seen it called that too. So you're just gonna dip the cloth into your bubble solution. Get ready. This is very cool. 3, 2, 1. This would probably be fun to do outside or over your kitchen sink. I'm doing it on my counter on a plastic tray. It's just soap bubbles, so it'll clean up. So let's talk about why. Why did this happen when I used the cloth? Because this cloth has a whole bunch of tiny, 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 tiny little holes in it. Same with a sock that you don't even really notice are there. So when I blow through it, every one of those holes makes its own little tiny bubble. And it's just continuously making more and more bubbles the more I blow. And then they attach together and they make a huge snake or worm. Isn't that cool? Let me show you one other thing you can do. I haven't tried this yet. I've heard this is a little messy, so make sure you ask a grown-up before you do that. So what you can do is, you can put a little bit of food coloring on your cloth before you dip it. I chose green. I gotta move my old bubble out of the way. Dip it in your bubble solution. Let's see if we can get a green soap worm. Do you see the green in it? You want to be careful when you're doing this not to suck in, because then you'll suck in soap. So you just want to keep blowing and blowing. How big of one can you make at home? Isn't that cool? Bubbles are fun, but they're science too. So think about it. I want you to look around your house, find some things that you can make bubble worms with, and regular bubbles, and have a good time. Have fun. And I'll see you back soon, and we'll do more science together. Bye.